Okay, as our veil thins, as we're going through the matrix and pushing out into that quantum field and realizing there's another world, multiple endless dimensions out there, and we're exploring this, I want to talk about that world, the mystical, magical world that I see so many people, and I've been asked a lot of questions about this, want to explore. I want to give you a stern, let's just say, consideration. I don't want to say warning, because you should never be afraid of anything, and that's sort of what we're going to talk about today. I want to give you a very, very stern consideration to make when you think you want to go into that realm, and we're going to talk about the difference between being in the matrix and exploring that and actually going out into the quantum field of your light and all probabilities, breaking through the matrix mesh, which I've talked about in many videos. We're going to continue to discuss that as the veil dissolves, but it's not going to dissolve for all of you. I want to specify why the magical world, the other dimensions, and how you can explore some amazing, magical, mind-blowing stuff. But here's a caveat. Stick with me. Welcome to Landria Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through those fears and live an amazing life. My mission is to raise the frequency of the planet one light being at a time. If you're on my channel, you're working on it, unless you came here just to, cause havoc. And then, of course, we welcome you too. But my question to you is, are you wanting experiences? Have you desired to, or have taken ayahuasca or pot or hallucinogens or whatever? Have you gone into this whole realm where you want an experience? Well, I want to share something with you. And by the way, make sure you listen to these videos all the way through. I actually continue to explain a lot of things very late in the videos, including the beginning to the end, that is very important for you to know. I don't want you to have half the information. Now, the veil is thinning. Why is that? Because when we raise our frequency, we get into the acknowledgement of what we really are, not something that we're going to seek out there and gain. I'm going to get that enlightenment out there. I'm going to get that awakening. You already are that. What you're realizing now, if you're going into awakened state, is that everything else is just made up experience, and that we signed up for it. And then it's like, wow, okay, this is really cool. Let's play with this. And it still is a human experience. Now, the magical experiences, the mystical, ghosts, aliens, all of that stuff. Remember, everything exists, and not all of it is in our dimension, because we are in a lower frequency. So when things do show up, they're just appearing for various reasons that not all of us have answers to. But I'm going to share with you today some of the answers as to why certain things may or may not happen for you. Now, those of you who want the mystical experiences, I'm going to give you a little something to consider, something big to consider. When you open the doors to other dimensions, whatever frequency you are in when you go there, because you can open the door to other dimensions on a low frequency. It's totally possible. Look at former leaders who've created, global catastrophes and tried to take over other countries, were major manifestors. They were doing it on a lower level, and they were opening up those doors, right? You must be in a state of peace and non-fear. Fear will then connect to the frequencies of lower densities, lower energy fields when you go into that space. So whether it's through some kind of experimenting with drugs or whatever, those are temporary experiences. I want to warn you about this, and this is a true warning. Those temporary experiences are just another way to try and get something that you are going to realize at some point. Only you can do that yourself, and there's no mystical experience that's going to take you there. Yeah, sometimes that's cool, I guess. I don't know. I've never done any of them. But I do know that I don't need to. I don't require that. I have my own mystical experiences. When I go into that realm of the quantum field and I raise my frequency, I connect to higher frequencies. I connect to inspiration, downloads, all kinds of amazing things. People on the other side come to me and give me information and visit once in a while, especially when they think I need certain things. My grandmother threw a party, I think it was during the holidays, and if you guys know my story, my family, my immediate family all died in a very short period of time, including my pets. And during the holidays, my grandmother showed up in a dream looking much younger than she usually is, and there was a pile, just a huge pile of gifts, probably about 20 feet high, beautifully wrapped gifts, and the room was full of tons of people that she said were my relatives. So she's letting me know we're all here, we're still here, there are gifts, there are celebrations going on, and letting me know that that does exist. So whatever situation you're in here, know that this is just a temporary facade that you chose. So that exists for me, and I'm choosing to be solitaire and to focus on my mission here. So just remember, everything you experience here is a flash in a pan of eternity. So when you're trying to constantly seek something to escape it, you're not addressing the fact that we came here to experience the density and to connect to ourselves and know the contrast of that. I say this all the time because I want to drill it in. There's nothing wrong with the contrast. And the pain and the sorrow and all the things we experience allow us to know what we truly are. So if you're going into this space where you think those things are wrong and whatever, and you're dealing with things like, Ouija boards and that, why do things come through those gateways? People are messing with stuff that they don't understand, that's a game for them. And so now they're going into a realm that's opening up doors that they shouldn't be messing with. When you go to a higher frequency, these things will flow to you, and you're going to experience some amazing things, not because you're seeking to open that door for an experience or demanding something to come through. We can never demand anything. What you do is you open up and ask for those who may want to assist you or give you answers or whatever, and those who have your best interests in mind. And you have to be on that high frequency. Now, what I want to share with you is once you start to open those doors, it's so important for you to meditate and go into a space of peace, awakening, and non-fear, because other stuff will show up that you don't understand, couldn't even imagine. I've never had this happen before. I've had deceased people come visit, but this one was different. I had a railroad worker. I used to live close to some rail tracks, and like from the 1930s, show up, a real tall, lanky guy. He actually knocked on the door, and I didn't want him in the house. I was like, who the heck is this guy, right? So he showed up several nights in a row. This is in dream state. And I'm like, I have no clue who this guy is. I was trying to figure out, according to his dress, what era he was from. It was very, very bizarre. He must have died. Maybe he was lonely. And I had a gateway open. And I meditate. I open up to... And what I realized at one point was that, he was a very peaceful person and lost for some reason. All right, people can do that, and that's part of those dimensions out there that you don't want to mess with. But if they show up, not to fear them. They cannot harm you. They can only harm you if you believe it and you're in fear mode. So what happened is I was getting ready in the bathroom, and I actually had him, he put his hand on my shoulder while I was awake, getting ready. He went, okay, we just crossed a line. All right, so now I'm not in sleep mode. He's not communicating that way. And so I told him that he needed to leave. And then I meditated, and I felt really bad about that later on. And I said, this isn't allowed. You are not allowed in my house. But later on I meditated, and I talked to him and told him, you know, there's a light waiting for you, and that, you know, you aren't here alone. And I did communicate that, because my first reaction was, okay, you just invaded my space. So yes, you have to have boundaries, but when you're seeking these experiences, you're not getting the fact that you will experience amazing, beautiful things. Angels, light beams, sprints, you know, you're going to see lights in the room, globes, orbs, I mean, and globes, whatever. You might see aliens because they connect on higher frequencies and they can actually communicate with you from their ships. I know this sounds weird. If you don't believe that, that's okay. You know, if you believe in fairies, that's cool too. All these things can show up, but you can't order them, because they will show up when they want to, not because they're told to. That's like saying, oh, I want my ex, I hear this all the time, I want my ex to knock on the door. Hello, what if your ex doesn't want to knock on the door? And that is totally ego-based. I want this experience. You must show up and, you know, show me this or whatever. You can ask for things, but just let go. The best way to experience something magical and high frequency is to be in a high frequency, to let go and just say, whatever, and stuff will just show up. Same thing with manifesting. When you're ordering things, the ego is saying, I don't have it, I want it, I'm focusing on it, and I always say, let go. The universe knows what you want. Once you know what you desire, just let it go with no rules, no expectations. They'll start to show up. One of my best students right now is experiencing a lot of that, and I've been working with this person who's just amazing. And what is happening? She's starting to win things, and things are showing up, and all this stuff is like, whoa, okay. And not all of it's big, but she's realizing stuff's coming to her that she didn't order. But she's open, she's let go. She stopped trying to control that world. You know, so don't try and control anything. And when you let go, you become one with that which you are. That's it. And the frequency within that is going to determine what you'll experience. So you want to go into that high frequency. And when you do, you will not have fear when things show up. Sometimes it's a little freaky, you know, but, you know, if it's, no matter what it is never meant to harm you. Nothing ever is. It's just an experience. So those of you who are trying to go into these mystical experiences through, you know, taking some kind of a hallucinogen or whatever, you know, that's fine, but where do you go from there? You're here on a mission, and you have to do the work. And it's like wanting to, you know, be rich and through winning the lottery. You know, most of those people go broke or get divorced or both. Why is that? Because they have not gone into the space of wealth. They got it handed to them, but they never learned how to be wealthy. So you can go take, you know, whatever, and have this mystical experience. You got to be careful of that, because it may not be so nice. And then they come back and they still have to do the work. And you can go into that space without doing anything, you know, physically taking anything to go there. Those doors are all going to open when you let go, and you have no barriers, which means you don't dictate what it is, how it is, what exists and what doesn't exist. Everything exists. All probabilities exist. Everything exists for you right now. You could change any situation. You can change your life completely. But there's a lesson and a journey in that. Don't miss it, because that's what you came here for. And all the things that'll show up are going to be congruent with that journey, whatever you've learned. Okay, so when you go into a space of learning and you master fear or guilt or blame or, you know, victimization, all these other things, you have to master that first. Then it dissolves. It dissolves because you let it go, not because you want it to go away. You have to go through the learning. And then you go into these mystical, magical places, and things will show up that'll freaking blow your mind. Seriously, they'll blow your mind. You're going to realize you're doing it. Yeah, at some point you will realize, oh my gosh, how many coincidences can I have? There's no coincidence, and there's no chaos in the universe. Everything is in order. Remember this, everything has order. Everything is expanding, and everything is quantum. In other words, it doesn't remain static. It can't. It's impossible. All right, so the Creator, that's all that's happening here. So expand into amazing things. open yourself up and say, okay, you know, and so a lot of you are going to do that and go, ah, don't turn the lights off. It's not, nothing's going to come in and scare you. And anything that does show up for you is going to be beautiful. And so when you're higher frequency, that's what you'll attract. And if anything else visits you, I have a lot of videos on dark entities. I've been visited by them. They bug out. You're no fun. You know, the bad child, you know, come on, let's go steal candy. And if you don't do it, it's like, nah, you're no fun. And they'll go find somebody else to corrupt, right? Because they're on that frequency, they may show up. Now, some things are attached to items or homes or whatever, and that's a whole different ballgame. That's some of those are residual energies. Everything's energy. Remember, everything's energy. So do you want a mystical, magical experience? Yes. The ones I've had, they just randomly show up. Who knows why? I don't know. But when they happen, they're wonderful. You know, as you guys know, I had 2 light beings join me. And while I was meditating, I found myself standing on the other side of the room looking at myself meditating. And I was talking to them. And guess what I said? I think I'm going to give up fear like it was a game. Because guess what? It's a game. And then I realized I was looking at myself and that they were standing there, and I popped back into my body. So I have 3 of them. 2 are male. They're really big and tall, and 1 is female, and she always stands in the middle. The 2 guys, the 2 masculine energies, are just amazing, and I've actually only seen 1 of them in human form. They're always light beings for me, and they show up on occasion. I haven't seen them in a while, but occasionally they do show up, especially in my dreams, or in my meditations especially. And one of my protectors, my master, you know, beings, did show up and had a little chat with me about 7 years ago, just before I started all of this, and asked me, what was I doing here? Why did you come down here to be with us, was exactly what he said. Why did I come down here to be with us? What am I, an alien? Maybe. I have those memories for 30 years, same dreams over and over again. We're going to talk a lot about that too. I want to take you out into that space, expand your mind and say, you know what? What do we know? We're on a destructive planet. This is how things are, and we fight about it. That's insanity. All right, same mind that created the problem cannot solve it. Let's change our minds. Let's expand our minds. Now, come on over to the Miracle Circle. It's $29.95 for an entire month of training. And then we go live and we create a miracle circle of light. And we talk about going to that high frequency. The training is the master key system, training your mind to shift out of that negative thinking, to shift and make higher choices, to shift into that world where you just create. You don't keep ordering things like you don't have it. You just go into that field, and you're not afraid to do it anymore. I'm having unbelievable responses from people saying that they've shifted, some of them very quickly, and they continue to. Manifest Anything is a free video series. If you go in the description or you go to landriaonkka.com, you can sign up, and that's free. And every few days you get a video from me, and I address these situations. And I also give you offers for classes and discounts and all kinds of cool stuff, all right? I have, did you guys know I have a mobile app? I have a mobile app. Yeah, I know. My guys just finished it. We had some problems last year with it because the systems all changed. It is now ready to go. I'm going to list that here in the description. If you go to landriaonkka.com, you'll see it there. And landriaonkka.net, I'm not done yet, is another way for you, this is a free video series, another way for you to get out of things you don't love to do for a living. I'm giving you all the tools to manifest anything, right? That's a tagline of mine. Tools to manifest anything. What are my tools? Courses, master classes. I want you to have the tools because people say, well, it's great to talk about this stuff, but how do I do it? I give you the tools to do it, but you have to do it because it's about that journey, going to mystical, amazing spaces. Can't wait to hear some of your stories, and I'm going to share more of mine that most of my friends have never, actually all of my friends haven't even heard. You know, sometimes you can't talk about that stuff. It's a little woo-woo for them. You're whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Blessings to you, my friend. Namaste.